welcome to the deep dive. You guys sent in a ton of research on AI in healthcare.
Yeah,
and
it's fascinating.
It's pretty mind-blowing. We're going to be talking about AI that can diagnose depression, predict how Parkinson's might progress, and even make sure the AI itself isn't biased.
Right.
So,
some really cool stuff.
Yeah, get ready to have your mind blown.
Yeah, it really is amazing to see how AI is changing things in medicine.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about replacing doctors,
Right,
but giving them these extra tools.
like superpowers.
Yeah, superpowers to diagnose better, predict earlier, and just create a fairer system for everybody.
Yeah, let's start with something that I think everyone kind of worries about a little bit, getting diagnosed accurately.
Right.
Especially with something like depression, which can be kind of tricky to catch early.
Absolutely, and that's where AI can be really powerful.
Okay.
One of the studies used GPT-4,
Oh, yeah.
which you might have heard of, to actually analyze transcripts from patient interviews and try to identify signs of depression.
So like an AI therapist listening in and picking up on those subtle cues?
That's a great way to put it.
That's both cool and a little creepy.
It is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
But what's important here is that the researchers realized that even a super smart AI still needs to be carefully tuned to be accurate. It's not just plug and play.
Right.
It's like teaching it to understand the nuances of human conversation and how depression might show up.
So it's not just about the tech.
No.
It's about making sure it's actually helpful.
Exactly.
In the real world.
In the real world. And speaking of the real world, what about predicting how diseases might develop?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Researchers are working on that too.
Okay.
Take Parkinson's disease, for example. It can progress in very different ways for different people.
Oh, wow.
Which makes it really hard to predict what will happen.
Right.
But a new study compared different AI approaches, and they found one that's particularly good at learning these complex patterns of how Parkinson's progresses.
So instead of just saying you have Parkinson's,
Right.
the AI could help doctors say, okay, here's what you might expect, and here's how we can maybe plan for it.
Exactly. That kind of personalized prediction could really change the game for patients and their families.
Now let's talk about data.
Okay.
You can't have smart AI without good data.
That's true.
But what happens when there are gaps in the data?
That is a big challenge.
Yeah.
Missing data can really throw AI off.
Yeah.
But researchers are coming up with some pretty clever solutions.
Okay.
Like one study that used multiple LLMs working together.
LLMs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a whole team of detectives to fill in those missing pieces in the data.
Like a detective agency.
Yeah.
I like it.
To fill in those gaps intelligently.
Okay, but what about bias in AI?
Yes.
We hear so much about that.
We do.
Can AI really be fair when it comes to healthcare?
It's an absolutely crucial question and one that a lot of researchers are taking very seriously.
Okay.
One study found a really startling example of bias.
Oh.
In an AI designed to diagnose anxiety in kids, it turned out it was underdiagnosing girls.
Really?
Because of subtle differences in how their symptoms were described in the medical records.
Wow. So just because girls might talk about their feelings differently.
Right.
The AI thought they weren't as anxious.
Yeah. Basically, it inherited that bias from the data it learned from.
That's incredibly unfair.
It is.
Yeah.
And it highlights how we need to be very careful about these things.
Yeah.
The good news is that researchers are developing techniques to de-bias AI.
Okay, good.
So that it's fair and accurate for everyone.
And this isn't just a problem with text data, right?
No, it's not.
What about medical images? Could AI be biased there too?
You're absolutely right to think about that.
Yeah.
Think about medical images that are used for diagnosis. We need to make sure the AI is creating or analyzing those images isn't biased toward certain genders or races or ethnicities.
So we wouldn't want an AI trained mostly on images of men to then misinterpret images of women.
Exactly. That's a great example.
Yeah.
And one of the studies focused on this very problem.
Okay.
They call their approach fair diffusion.
Fair diffusion.
And it's designed to make sure the AI creates a really diverse range of images representing everyone fairly.
Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about how AI and human experts can work together.
Yeah.
Because it's not like doctors are going to be replaced by robots tomorrow, right?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's all about collaboration.
Okay.
Take radiology, for example. AI is already helping radiologists analyze images.
Yeah.
But there's this challenge called data drift.
Data drift.
Data drift.
Sounds kind of ominous.
Yeah, what's data drift? Basically, as patient demographics change, or we get new imaging techniques, the AI that was trained on older data can become less accurate over time.
Oh, so it's like AI getting rusty.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Okay.
It needs to be updated and kept fresh.
So how do we keep these AIs sharp and up to date?
Well, that's where regulations come in and constant updates. We need to have systems to make sure AI models in healthcare are constantly learning and adapting.
Just like human doctors.
Just like human doctors, exactly.
Okay. And another study really focused on making AI more transparent, especially when it comes to complex diagnoses. Because imagine an AI just telling you have prostate cancer, but not explaining why.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah.
And doctors need to be able to understand the AI's reasoning, not just blindly trust its output.
Right.
So this study developed a technique called Projected X.
Projected X.
Which makes the AI's thought process in diagnosing prostate cancer much clearer so the doctors can see why it's making certain recommendations.
So it's like giving the AI a voice to explain itself.
Exactly.
I like that.
And that builds trust between the doctors and the AI.
Right.
It's about creating that partnership where AI empowers doctors to make even better decisions.
And what about mental health? Can AI play a role in diagnosing conditions like anxiety and depression?
That's definitely something researchers are looking into.
Okay.
One study looked at how to guide these LLMs, the powerful language models, to basically mimic how human therapists diagnose mental health conditions.
Oh, so teaching AI to think like a therapist.
That's a good way to put it.
That could be a huge help.
It could.
Especially with so many people struggling to access mental health care.
Yeah, and especially for things like early screening.
Right.
And providing support in areas where mental health resources are limited.
Okay, let's dive a little deeper into these LLMs.
Let's do it.
Because they seem to be popping up everywhere in healthcare now.
They really are. There was a comprehensive survey of LLMs in medicine that highlights just how much potential they have.
Oh, wow.
We're talking diagnosing diseases, recommending treatments, even potentially discovering new drugs.
So LLMs are like the Swiss Army knife of AI in healthcare.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, but let's get specific.
Okay.
How are they actually being used?
So one that I thought was really interesting is called CancerKG.org.
CancerKG.org.
Yeah.
That sounds intense.
It is.
What is it?
It's like a super-powered resource for cancer information. Imagine combining all the latest medical knowledge with the smarts of an LLM.
Oh, wow.
That's what CancerKG.org does.
Yeah.
It provides up-to-date, reliable information on cancer treatment and care all in one place.
So it's not just a chatbot spitting out random info?
No.
It's an LLM that actually understands cancer.
Yeah, it has a deep understanding.
That's amazing.
And because it's constantly learning and updating, it can provide truly personalized information tailored to your specific situation.
Now we're talking personalized AI.
Yes.
That can keep up with all the latest cancer research?
Exactly.
That's huge.
It really is. And speaking of personalization, another study developed an LLM called Health-LLM.
Health-LLM.
Which focuses on predicting diseases based on your unique health history and medical records.
So it's like having an AI that can look ahead and say, okay, here's what you need to watch out for, and here's how you can stay healthy.
Exactly. It's about giving you that personalized risk assessment.
But hold on a sec. If AI is analyzing all my health data, how do I know it's staying private?
That's a very valid concern.
Yeah.
And researchers are developing ways to make sure AI in healthcare protects your privacy.
Okay, good.
One study came up with a framework that lets LLMs answer your health questions without actually needing to see your sensitive data.
So like an AI that can give you advice without knowing all your personal details.
Exactly. It's like having an expert consultant who can help you navigate your health journey.
Okay.
But without needing to know all the nitty-gritty details.
Yeah, I like that.
It's about respecting privacy.
I feel like with all this amazing potential, there have to be some challenges.
Oh, there definitely are.
What are we looking at?
One of the biggest concerns with LLMs is something called hallucination.
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 Like the AI is seeing things that aren't there.
That aren't there, kind of.
Okay.
It means the AI can sometimes generate false statements.
Oh, that could be really bad in healthcare.
It could be disastrous.
Yeah.
Imagine an AI-generated radiology report that says you have a tumor when you don't.
Yeah, you don't want to mess around with that.
No, you don't.
Okay.
So researchers are very aware of this risk, and they're developing tools to detect these hallucinations.
Okay.
And ensure that the reports are accurate and reliable.
Good.
One such tool is called Rext Trust. And it acts like a fact checker for the AI.
So it's making sure it's not just making stuff up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Making sure it's grounded in reality.
But this isn't just about making sure the information is accurate for doctors, right?
Right.
What about for everyday people like me?
That's important too.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that AI in healthcare can communicate effectively with everyone.
Right.
Not just medical professionals.
Okay.
One study tested how well LLMs answered health questions posed by regular people. And the results were encouraging.
Okay.
But they also show that there's still room for improvement.
So we're not quite at the point where we can just ask Dr. Google anything and get a perfect answer?
Not quite, but we're getting closer. And that's what's so exciting.
Yeah.
AI in healthcare is constantly evolving. We're only just beginning to see its true potential.
I'm ready for the next level.
Okay.
What else did you find in these research summaries that blew your mind?
Well, you won't believe this, but some researchers are using the Monty Hall problem.
Wait, the game show thing?
Yeah.
With the doors? And the car?
Yeah, the car and the goats.
What does that have to do with healthcare?
You'd be surprised they're using it to make LLMs better at making decisions.
Okay, you got to explain this to me. Like, I'm still stuck on door number 1.
All right, imagine the AI is presented with a bunch of possible diagnoses, right?
Okay.
Using the Monty Hall logic, we can actually eliminate some of those options based on additional information. Just like revealing a goat behind one of the doors on the game show.
So you're giving the AI a strategy to avoid those hallucinations.
Exactly. It's all about making the AI more reliable and trustworthy.
Okay.
Especially in healthcare, where the stakes are so high.
That makes sense. Now, we've talked a lot about, individual diagnoses and treatments. But what about the bigger picture? Can AI help us improve healthcare on a larger scale?
Absolutely. One study explored using AI to build nationwide healthcare infrastructure.
Nationwide?
Nationwide, capable of analyzing massive amounts of patient data.
That sounds incredibly ambitious.
It is, and they used a very practical example to show how it could work: knee rehabilitation.
Okay.
They used AI to analyze videos of patients doing exercises at home, providing feedback on their progress and helping them improve.
So instead of going to physical therapy once a week,
Yeah.
you could have an AI coach at home with you.
Exactly. And because it's analyzing data from so many patients, it can provide personalized recommendations based on what's worked for others.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like having a virtual physical therapist in your pocket.
But what about privacy with all that data being collected?
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
And the researchers in the study emphasized the use of techniques to protect that patient data throughout the entire process.
Good.
It's all about ensuring these powerful tools are used responsibly and ethically.
We don't want to sacrifice privacy for progress?
No, we don't.
What other areas of healthcare are being kind of revolutionized by AI?
Well, one area that's seeing a lot of innovation is medical imaging. We've already talked about AI helping radiologists.
Yeah.
But it's also being used to enhance other imaging techniques.
Okay.
For example, one study used a new AI model to improve brain tumor detection.
So it's like giving doctors a more powerful lens to see what's going on inside the brain.
Exactly. This particular model is called ResUnet++.
ResUnet++.
And it's incredibly good at identifying and pinpointing brain tumors, giving doctors more accurate information to make treatment decisions.
That's a huge step forward in fighting brain cancer.
It is. And what's really cool about this model is it was designed with human-computer interaction in mind.
So doctors can use it?
Yeah, doctors can easily understand and interact with the AI's findings.
So it's really a collaboration.
It's a true collaboration between human expertise and artificial intelligence.
I love that idea. Yeah. AI and doctors working together as a team.
As a team, exactly.
Not AI replacing doctors, but AI giving doctors the tools to do their jobs even better.
Exactly. And AI is also being used to address one of the biggest challenges in medical research.
Which is?
Data scarcity.
Data scarcity.
Data scarcity.
What's that?
It means that sometimes there just isn't enough real patient data available to train AI models effectively.
Oh.
This is especially true for rare diseases or conditions where collecting data is difficult or very time-consuming.
So how do you teach an AI if you don't have enough real-world examples?
That is a great question, and that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
One study figured out a way to generate synthetic images. Synthetic images.
Well, like fake pictures.
Like fake pictures of diabetic retinopathy. They use a technique called StyleGN3 to create these realistic-looking images of the disease, which they could then use to train their AI model.
So it's like giving the AI a crash course in diabetic retinopathy.
Yeah, a crash course using fake images.
Using these synthetic images.
And by creating this large data set of synthetic images, they could train their model to detect the disease much earlier and more accurately.
Oh, wow.
Potentially saving people's eyesight.
That's incredible.
It is.
That's a really good example of how AI can solve these real problems in healthcare.
Absolutely.
But it also brings up questions about ethics.
Of course, as AI becomes more powerful, we always need to make sure it's being used responsibly and for the benefit of all.
Well said.
It's an ongoing conversation.
It seems like we're just scratching the surface of what AI can do in healthcare.
Yeah, I think so.
What other groundbreaking research did you uncover in these summaries?
Well, one study I found was looking at how AI can potentially improve customer support in healthcare.
Customer support?
Customer support.
That sounds a bit mundane.
It might sound mundane.
Compared to all this other mind-blowing stuff.
But it's actually a really crucial part of healthcare. Imagine being able to get accurate and helpful information about your health concerns.
Okay, yeah, that would be helpful.
Right.
Especially if you're feeling anxious.
Exactly. And this study proposed using LLMs in a really innovative way.
Okay.
Something called zero-shot learning.
Zero-shot learning?
Zero-shot learning.
What is that?
It's like the AI can answer new questions without needing specific examples or training data.
So even if you ask a question the AI has never encountered before, it can still give you a helpful response.
That's the goal.
Okay.
It's about creating AI that's more adaptable and can handle the complexity of human health concerns.
But how do they make sure the AI doesn't accidentally reveal sensitive information?
That's a key consideration. And the study incorporated real-time data anonymization and other techniques to make sure that patient privacy is protected.
So it's like having a super smart AI assistant that can answer your questions without ever knowing your name or your personal details.
It's about harnessing the power of AI, but still respecting privacy.
Now, shifting gears a bit.
Okay.
One of the summaries you sent me mentioned something about AI being used to analyze speech patterns to detect cognitive decline.
Yes. That's a really fascinating area of research. They're using AI to listen for subtle changes in how people speak that might indicate early signs of cognitive impairment.
So the AI can hear things that even a doctor might miss.
That's the idea.
Wow.
The study used a combination of acoustic analysis, looking at things like tone and pace of speech, and then text-based analysis, looking at the actual words people use and how they structure their sentences.
So it's listening to what you're saying and how you're saying it.
Exactly. And by combining those different types of analysis, the researchers were able to identify patterns in speech that were highly predictive of cognitive decline.
So could this technology be used to diagnose things like Alzheimer's earlier?
That's definitely the hope. early diagnosis is crucial for any condition, but especially for cognitive impairment, where early intervention can make a big difference.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's like having an AI that can hear the whispers of cognitive change before they become noticeable to others.
Yeah.
It's really remarkable.
It seems like AI is really opening up all these new possibilities for understanding and treating the brain.
It really is, and this is just one example of how AI is being used to tackle neurological disorders.
Yeah.
There's a ton of research happening in this field, and it's just the beginning.
Now, before we move on to our final section of this deep dive,
Good.
I have to ask about one more study that really caught my attention. It seems like AI is popping up in some pretty unexpected places.
I'm intrigued. What did you find?
This study explored using AI for urban planning.
Urban planning. What does that have to do with healthcare?
Well, it might seem like a stretch, but the researchers argue that the way our cities are designed can have a huge impact on our health and well-being.
Okay, I can see that.
Think about things like access to green spaces, walkability, even social interactions.
Right.
All of that plays a role in how healthy we are.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So how are they using AI to design healthier cities?
They created a framework called Cyclical Urban Planning, or CUP.
CUP.
Which uses multiple LLM agents to generate, evaluate, and refine urban plans.
LLM agents, so like little tiny AI architects designing our cities.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay.
These agents simulate the behaviors and interactions of residents, allowing planners to assess the impact of different urban designs.
Oh, wow.
On things like traffic flow, access to parks, even social cohesion.
So it's like running a simulation of how people would live in a particular urban environment.
Exactly.
Before you even build it.
Exactly. And by using AI to test out all these different scenarios, they can identify designs that promote health, well-being, and sustainability.
That's incredible. It's like using AI to create a blueprint for a healthier future.
Precisely. And it really highlights how AI's applications are expanding beyond these traditional domains.
Yeah.
Like medicine and finance.
Right.
We're seeing AI being used to tackle these complex social and environmental challenges, which is really exciting.
I'm loving this journey into the world of AI.
Me too.
What other unexpected applications did you find in these research summaries?
Well, one that I found fascinating was looking at how AI can be used to unravel cause and effect relationships.
Cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
That sounds pretty fundamental.
It is, and it has huge implications for healthcare.
Okay.
Think about understanding the causes of diseases, the effectiveness of treatments, or the impact of public health interventions.
Okay. I see how that would be valuable.
Yeah.
But how do you use AI to figure out what causes what?
This study used a technique called Bayesian generative modeling.
Bayesian what?
Bayesian generative modeling.
This sounds complicated.
It's a little technical, but basically it's a way of using probability and statistics to model complex systems.
Okay.
And by combining this approach with AI, researchers can untangle that messy web of relationships between different variables and identify the true underlying causes of certain outcomes.
So it's like an AI detective.
That's a great way to put it.
That can sift through mountains of data.
Yeah.
And figure out what's really driving certain events.
That's a great analogy, and it has the potential to really revolutionize how we approach healthcare research and policy decisions.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. What else did you find in this treasure trove of AI research?
Well, this one might surprise you, but researchers are using AI to study the microbiome.
The what?
The microbiome.
That's like the trillions of bacteria that live inside our bodies?
Exactly. And it turns out that these tiny organisms played a huge role in our health.
Okay.
Everything from digestion to immunity to even mental health.
So how is AI being used to study these microbes?
Well, the study used AI to analyze the gut microbiome of patients with inflammatory bowel disease.
Oh, wow.
And they found that certain patterns in the microbiome were strongly associated with disease severity and treatment response.
So it's like AI can see a fingerprint of the disease in the gut bacteria.
That's a great way to put it, and this has huge implications for personalized medicine. Imagine being able to tailor treatments based on an individual's unique microbiome profile.
That's amazing.
Like having a customized health plan for your gut.
Okay, so we've got AI diagnosing diseases, predicting outcomes, analyzing medical images, improving customer support, designing healthier cities, even studying the microbiome.
It's a lot.
It's clear that AI is transforming healthcare in countless ways.
It really is, and we've only just begun to explore its full potential.
Okay, so all this incredible potential.
Right.
What are some of the challenges?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is ensuring that AI is used ethically and responsibly.
Okay, yeah.
Especially as it becomes more sophisticated and integrated into our lives. We need to make sure that it's used for the benefit of all, not just a select few.
So how do we make sure AI stays on the right track?
Well, it's going to require collaboration and dialogue between doctors, researchers, policymakers, and the public.
We all need to be part of the conversation.
Absolutely. We all have a stake in shaping the future of AI in healthcare.
And making sure that it benefits everyone.
That's the goal.
This has been an incredible deep dive into the world of AI in medicine.
It has.
Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. It's been great.
And to our listeners, keep those research summaries coming, and we'll keep diving deep into the world of AI.
Absolutely.
See you next time.
See?